Welcome again to the not exactly top of Mount Manitoba, but I'm on Mount Manitoba. Don't actually Google it because you're going to find someplace in Yukon. Yeah. But either way, if you want to do that, you're going to find me, Kirk Buchner. Not in Mount Manitoba is Evan Nolan. This guy, or is it this guy? I don't know how this sort of works when I'm
I'm not sure. I'm up top and you're the big screen. So
see, I've got you to my left, so I didn't know how that was working. All right, interesting.
I am in a place that is very far from Mount anything, and we are the second flattest state in the union. So
somebody in the prairies, but anyway.
Yeah, it is a prairie state. So
yeah, well, prairie province.
There you go.
Either way, nobody cares about our geography. They're here. They're here to listen to us talk about the Hall of Fame related news. And this is the Hall of Fame show, season 3, episode 46. Who batted 346? Somebody pretty good, obviously.
Let's just say Tony Gwynn.
Thank you for using one of my favorite baseball players. I think
You're welcome.
Was for me. I'm much appreciated. And I love how in some years that was a bad year for him.
I know.
Yes. Love Tony Gwynn, who is in the Baseball Hall of Fame, but is not eligible for the first ever class of the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. You can vote on that, www.nothalloffame.com/USA. It's the best creation that Evan and I ever did together. He's got 2 kids. So, I mean, like, he's going to, if I just say the best creation, that's
fair enough. By the way, in case you're wondering, the 4th all-time leading batting average in Major League history belongs to Ed Delahanty at 346 for his career.
All right.
So there you go. It's ahead of Ted Williams, who's only 344.
Only.
I know.
Only. Ted Williams is an inaugural nominee.
Yes, he is.
So you can vote for him. We also have the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame and the Fictitious Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I guess that's sort of our big news at this point, because there's not a lot of Hall of Fame related news, although baseball votes are trickling in. Some have been sort of interesting.
Yeah, the only Frankie Rodriguez ballot is, it's a thing.
Not that we have anything against Rodriguez.
I have nothing against Frankie Rodriguez. Like I think we talked about this. Frankie Rodriguez is one of those people who I'd probably only vote for Beltran, but from the newbies. But if I was going to vote for a second one, Rodriguez would be him. I'm just not sure Frankie Rodriguez is the only person who deserves to be voted for on that ballot.
He's not, which is ridiculous in itself. But I guess before we get to the other thing, I have been getting some interesting ballots for our thing, which you can join on the 20th. It is going to be the 3rd annual meeting of the minds, and we're planning to do this live, which means I've got to figure out how to do that. I think I know how to do it, but I'm not sure. What's the worst that can happen with me?
Oh, you'll fall asleep and I'll have to carry it. That's about it.
That happens sometimes even when I'm sober.
Fair enough. Yeah, by the way, you'll have my list. I'm working on it. I just haven't gotten a chance to get to. You'll have it probably Saturday morning.
Sounds good. And yeah, but basically what that is, it's we are getting all together and saying, hey, who do we think should be the finalists? And if some of the names will seem a little strange to you, it's because we're using the ones that we've already put together as our semifinalists. It's a different list. So we're actually picking from a list of 37.
It's a better list.
I would like to think so, and it's a lot more transparent.
100% more transparent.
And you can sort of see and watch our process. And if we do wind up doing this live, then you can sort of like bash us while we were doing it.
I mean, just changing out Kevin Williams, Sean Alexander, and Steve Wisniewski for Fred Taylor, Hines Ward, and Ricky Waters is already a massive improvement. I'm even including Leslie O'Neill, Tom Nalen, Randall Cunningham, and a whole bunch of other people who I think deserve to be on that list. So,
yeah, some of the one like right now, it's not going where I thought, but because we're getting different people in than we had last year, it's very different already, which I think is good, and I think also too, it sort of shows why maybe it's not the worst thing for the Pro Football Hall of Fame to cycle people out, or any Hall of Fame for that matter, except for you and I. We're grandfathered in for life because, hey, it's ours.
Yeah, you're the Jan Wenner and I'm the little Stevie Van Zandt, or is it the other way around?
God, which one would I want to be in? Well, I mean,
would you prefer to have chlamydia or syphilis?
Yeah, but syphilis was awesome on The Sopranos.
Oh, true. That's true.
Yeah.
So,
So I
wow. All right,
guess
let's move on before we get ourselves sued.
so. Speaking of syphilis, the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame, where some of these people might have had that. And what this is, if you're wondering, what do you mean fictitious athlete? Well, some athletes aren't real. Rocky Balboa. So kids, when you're in Philadelphia and you see that statue of that boxer, Rocky never actually beat anybody because he never existed.
Rocky Marciano did exist though.
Mm-hmm. But Rocky Balboa is a bigger name. Ain't no statue of Rocky 100%.
Marciano. Rocky Marciano did retire undefeated though too. So you have a all-time Massachusetts Mount Rushmore. People born in Massachusetts. Rocky Marciano is on it every single time. So
who else would be?
Marvin Hagler, probably. I
don't know my Massachusetts-born athletes.
Depends on how you feel about Patrick Ewing. Depends on how you feel about Nancy Kerrigan. Does not depend how you.
Hey, why? Sorry.
Does not depend how you feel about Lou Merloni. Yeah, I'd have to go back and check some more. But Rocky Marciano is easily the George Washington on that, the first one from the Massachusetts athletes. So
also an inaugural nominee.
Yeah. For the real Hall of Fame.
There we go. So let's just get into who the actual members are. So I'll just read them off. Of course, it's Rocky. And so we got Roy Hobbs, the natural, Crash Davis from Bull Durham, Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn, Happy Gilmore, Reggie Dunlop, the Hanson brothers, Charlie Conway from the Mighty Ducks franchise, Benny the Jet Rodriguez from the Sandlot, Apollo Crews, that's a wrestler, Apollo Creed from the Rocky franchise, Willie Mays Hayes, Forrest Gump, and if you're wondering, wait a minute, Forrest Gump, hey, Alabama athlete.
And ran back and forth across the country an indeterminate number of times before stopping in the middle of nowhere.
And was a world-renowned ping pong player.
True, that is true.
He would have been better off. He would have been better off if Jenny only had syphilis, though. But anyway, sorry.
Okay,
you started that.
I did 100%. This is entirely my fault for once.
Yes. Bobby Boucher, the Water Boy, Paul Wrecking Crew, the original one, starring Burt Reynolds, Johnny Hinson, The League of Their Own, Daniel LaRusso, Karate Kid, Clubber Lang, Rocky, Ivan Drago, Rocky, Fast Eddie Felson from The Hustler, Al Bundy, Married with Children, Homer Simpson, who we talked about last week. And again, wait a minute, Homer? Hey. Homer was the one who hit the game-winning hit by pitch.
He also sucked like a fox at bowling.
Sucked like a fox.
Yeah, my favorite episode of The Simpsons ever, the Beer Baron episode, where they were smuggling booze into Moe's by stuffing it in bowling balls and throwing gutter balls. So they went down. Moe emptied out the booze from the bowling ball and kept going from there. So he sucked like a fox. It's the only other sporting one I can think of immediately. So,
well, he did mixed curling with Marge as a demonstration sport.
That is true.
And then it actually became a real sport. And actually, I know someone who was trying to get into that and almost made it for representing Canada.
Oh, wow. I did some curling at the National Curling Facility in Maryland for a while. You had to wake up early on a Saturday morning, but you paid $20. You got like 3 hours of curling, breakfast, and a Molson Canadian.
Molson?
For $20? Come on. Breakfast, Molson Canadian, 3 hours of curling is a pretty good deal for $20 a person.
$20. I got 4 Molsons at home.
Was it just the Molsons?
Yes. Johnny Lawrence, the Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, Jake Taylor, Major League, Sam Malone, Cheers, and Jimmy Chitwood. I'm also going to mention this stuff now. So we have the fictitious contributor wing, which is just the way it sounds. Coaches, contributors, and people who aren't actually the athletes. So that's Harry Doyle, Major League, Carl Spackler, Caddyshack, Mr. Miyagi, Karate Kid, Chubbs Peterson, Happy Gilmore, Gordon Bombay, Mighty Ducks, Mickey Goldmill, Rocky, Morris Buttermaker, Bad News Bears, Coach Ernie Pantuso, Cheers, Adrian Balboa, Rocky, Jimmy Dugan, finally, League of Their Own.
Took forever.
Oh, it did. The Gopher from Caddyshack. Yes, you voted in a puppet. I didn't do it. Evan didn't do it. All of you did it. It's an open vote.
I never voted for the Gopher. I can be honest on that one.
Okay, I might have, but actually,
I'm all right. Don't nobody worry about me.
which is basically how I dance at every wedding. Polly Panino, Rocky, and Norman Dale, Hoosiers. And there's a veteran category. Andy the Champ Purcell from The Champ, the original one, not the Robert Redford one. Robert Redford? No. John Boyd? Wait, which one was it? It was
I don't remember.
Schroeder. Picks of shit. Dennis Ryan, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Guffey McGowan, Angels in the Outfield. The whole Huxley College team from Horse Feathers, Sport Goofy, and Joe Hardy, Joe Boyd, Damn Yankees, and Harold Lamb, the freshman. So here are the athlete finalists, and this is sort of different from what we've done it in years past, where I just told Evan what it was and he didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
This time, you came prepared because I prepared you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, ready to go.
Yes. So we have Adonis Creed, who I guess Creed 3 is coming out. So I think it's just a matter of time.
I mean, we have a huge, probably disproportionate number of people in from the Rocky franchise. And granted, it's probably the greatest franchise ever. But is this the last one, you think?
Spider Rico?
Spider Rico. Yeah, but I mean, we have Adrian, we have Mickey, we had
there's
Clubber, Creed.
From the original series. I mean, Tommy Gunn isn't getting in.
No,
that won't happen. Paulie's in, Adrian's in, Mickey's in. No,
I mean, Adonis, I think, is the last one. So,
well, it depends also too how this franchise, the second wave, sort of like clicks with people as it sort of goes.
That's true. That's true.
So, but either way, a finalist again, and will always be in the consciousness. I think it's only a matter of time. First time finalist, All the Way May.
Yeah. So if elected would be our second athlete, and we've had Dottie Hinson from League of Their Own as well is in, and Adrian. We already mentioned.
Second female.
What?
You mean second female athlete? Was that?
What did I say?
You just said second athlete. So.
Oh, I meant to say female athlete. Excuse me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dottie Hinson from League of Their Own is already in. Adrian Balboa is in as a contributor, so third overall, but second athlete if she gets in. Madonna's best role?
Absolutely. Madonna was fantastic in this movie. I thought she was great. I don't think she was ever good in anything else, frankly.
I have to say, took a perverse love of Breathless Mahoney from Dick Tracy. But that whole movie's terrible. So it's just one of those movies I saw as a kid, I loved, and still watch whenever it's on.
So many legends, so much shit.
Yeah, it was a great cast with a terrible plot. So
awful. But yes,
they should try remaking Dick Tracy. I know nobody cares anymore because nobody reads the comics, but that was another one. There's certain movies like the idea is good, but they screwed it up. I have no trouble with the idea was good, they screwed it up, as opposed to someone they were talking about remaking The Princess Bride at one point. Just leave perfect movies alone. In the words of the Man in Black, there's a shortage of perfect movies in the world. To be ashamed to ruin that one. Go remake Dick Tracy.
Why not that one? I mean, you've done millions like C-level characters of Marvel that a lot of people have never heard of.
Oh, come on. There's a huge outcry for Black Adam. Huge outcry.
Man, what a universe fall apart that is. But there's other podcasts that can handle that far better than we can.
Yes, true.
All right. So from talking about Dottie Hinson and people who are great to women, we've got Bill Murray and Big Ernie McCracken. So you're familiar with that?
Very nice.
Thank you.
Would be his second time in, correct?
Be a second time in, yeah, because he's in as Carl Spackler. Bill Murray is as much. God, this is the second show in a row I've been talking about this because Chris and I were talking about Bill Murray as we were looking at our Battle of the Network stars, but in all the Me Too movements or things that you could have had. We'll see Howard Cosell smooching on everybody. But anyway, yeah, Bill Murray is somebody I just don't want to hear anything bad about, even if it's true. I know that's awful to say, but
fair enough.
Yeah. But love him in Kingpin. That would be the first time Kingpin gets in. Bugs Bunny always is here, seems. Space Jam.
Yeah, another Bill Murray joint.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Bugs Bunny, Space Jam, Bugs Bunny as the pitcher, catcher, first baseman, second baseman, third baseman, shortstop, left fielder, right fielder, center fielder. But yeah, I mean,
That one episode, yes.
if Sport Goofy can get in, Bugs Bunny should be in. So,
do you think he's helped or hurt by the remake with LeBron?
I think having seen the remake with LeBron at a outdoor theater, so a drive-in.
Did you drive out right away?
We did not. I think there was a second movie that I think we stayed for. I can't remember what it was. That was not a good film.
Look, I haven't seen it, and I don't plan to.
It was not good, and it's going to be largely forgotten. So the original Space Jam is the one to go with.
Yeah, although I will say this: LeBron's performance in Trainwreck, if you ever saw that,
I have not.
Where he again played himself. He was great in that. I think that at some point you and I should sort of like work on back Oscars of people who are active athletes in roles.
We should do a tournament of the best acting by an athlete. Cam Neely in Dumb and Dumber versus Kevin Garnett in Uncut Gems. Go.
It's Seabass. I mean that.
It's Although Kevin Garnett was fantastic in Uncut Gems.
Does it have to be someone who's active, or do you put like a 5-year thing after?
Yeah, I mean,
because you got to disqualify then like Alex Karras or not, because Mongo would win, right?
I mean, Mongo is the only one who ever knocked out a horse. So,
I believe, yeah, I can't believe anyone sort of replicated that. Oh, there we go. The wife has made a second straight appearance by helping out by sort of taking out the dog who has decided to whine a bit. Yes.
The true hero of this podcast.
A true hero of my life. 19 years on Saturday together.
Wow, good for you guys.
So, and she stayed with me. Let's see if I can make her do another appearance. 19 years, huh? Yeah.
Next up.
Yes, thank you. Someone's got to keep this on track because it ain't going to be me. Cal Naughton Jr. I think this is the first time that's a finalist. John C. Reilly, who we talked about on the last one because his performance as Dewey Cox, Walk Hard. So be nice to see John C. Reilly, a great actor. Just somebody, I don't see how you don't like this guy. Yeah. Danny Noonan, Michael O'Keefe. I mean, like the true hero of actually the Caddyshack film. He saves the cut.
That is true. Yeah. I think he's a long shot because nobody actually ever thinks of him from Caddyshack.
His plot line was the least interesting, even though he was the caddy. And it's Caddyshack.
Yeah. My guess is out of all these people, he ends in last.
Could be. You know, I'll give you when we do this and make the announcement in a few weeks, I'll tell you the order.
Sounds good.
Okay. Unless they finish with 4 votes or lower. Baseball veteran rule. Hamilton Porter, The Sandlot. You know, when you needed a go-to goofy-looking redhead kid, you always called on this guy, Patrick Renna. So I don't know what he's doing now.
I don't either.
Maybe he can accept the award in person. He can sort of like Halle Berry it.
That'd be fantastic. I love that.
Yes. Kudos to anyone who gets that reference.
Yeah, honestly, if he does get elected, let's just see if we can get him on the podcast. Reach out to his people. I'm sure, or if he has them.
Why not? He probably seems like somebody who would just sort of like love it or not.
Yeah.
I tried to get the guy who played Henry Rowengartner, but that didn't work out, obviously.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. Why are you following me on Twitter then? Anyway. Sorry. Jeff the Dude Lebowski. I would not be surprised if the dude gets in.
Yeah, this is a pretty good class for the dude.
I think so.
Probably with the people who I expect to vote, one of the top 3 names on this ballot, depending how you feel about the next candidate. But I would say one of the top 3 with Adonis Creed and Big Earn, and then the dude.
And then we got, so the one you're referring to is Lee, which is Bruce Lee. The character name, because they put a lot of thought into the character name, they put even less thought into the actual tournament that he participated in, Dragon. And yeah, I know it's a running bit for me, but still one of my favorite movies of all time because you just want him to kick ass.
Yep. Probably the worst performance by a tournament bracket in movie history.
The bracket was busted.
Yeah, best performance, of course, was from The Quick and the Dead. The tournament bracket in that was just absolutely fantastic.
Which is why that's actually one of my favorite films. I know that a lot of people hated it. I love that movie because
I love The Quick and the Dead. That movie's incredible.
okay, all right, let's we'll do a timeout here. Could that have I missed out not putting those characters on? That was an athletic person.
Is gunfighting a
People were betting on it?
People were betting on it.
Shooting is an Olympic sport.
We should put that up as a Twitter poll. Are the characters of The Quick and the Dead athletes? And see what people say. Yes or no.
Option C, what's Quick and the Dead?
Option C, what's Quick and the Dead? It's the third greatest Leonardo DiCaprio movie. No, I'm
kidding. that is my all-time
yeah.
all-time favorite Sharon Stone.
No, Russell Crowe, Gene Hackman, that's a great movie.
Absolutely. Okay, this one's thanks to Ted, our webmaster, because I forgot about him the first couple of years, and I guess that's what the difference is when you have kids. Lightning McQueen, cars. So every now and then, Ted will say, so he'll bring me like, why aren't you focusing on this one? Like, why didn't you nominate this one? I didn't know it existed.
You know, Cars existed?
I did, but I never watched it. It wasn't on the radar, right? So like, I was so proud of myself for coming up with all these obscure ones, right? So you forget about ones that are actually that make sense. I know it's an anthropomorphic car, nice, great English, Kirk, but anthropomorphic. It's a car that talks anyway, and it moves, and it won races. So there you go. It's actually a great one. So
yeah, agreed. And just by the way, I just go back. I did not mention Sharon Stone, who's fantastic in The Quick and the Dead. I just want to make sure I said that before we moved on.
I thought I did for us.
I didn't. So
you didn't. Okay. Yeah, Sharon Stone. I don't think we've ever discussed Sharon Stone. I guess why would we?
Yeah.
I think of a pretty good actress actually, and doesn't get enough credit in my opinion. The second version of Paul Wrecking Crew, the one played by Sandler. So Sandler could be a three-time inductee, and Robbie Hart's inducted or nominated.
Yeah, and it would be the first time the same character's in twice, correct?
Oh, same character, yeah. Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Although I suppose in the fictitious rock thing, we could have that with Homer.
Fair enough. Yeah, no,
that hasn't happened yet.
No, true.
Yeah. So Major League still has one big one left in Pedro Serrano, played by the American president. 24th Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that is true. I was going to say you're in good hands with Pedro Serrano, right?
Very well done.
Yeah. Still one of the best completely ad-lib scenes in the history of movies. The meeting on the mound during Major League. They did not tell Robert Wool what they're going to say when he went out there. And when they had the meeting on the mound,
Robert Wool.
He's like, "What's going on?" Yeah, the pitching coach.
But I think you're thinking of Bull Durham.
You think of Bull Durham? Oh yeah, I think of Bull Durham. I apologize. Absolutely, 100% thinking of Bull Durham. My bad. Still, that's one of the greatest.
Sure. What the hell did Pedro go to the mound? I don't remember.
Yeah. No, I screwed that up. So I was thinking about needing the live chicken to get.
Pedro never met Harless.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, good.
Either have been drinking not enough or too much. I'm going for the Asti Spumante tonight, right? Well, not Asti. The finishing off a bottle of Prosecco.
You know what though? Because you're doing that, let's toast your dad because that's why you're having that.
So
to the dads in the world.
The dads in the world, 100%. Yeah. My dad passed away 10 years ago yesterday. Mm-hmm. So I was out. He's born in 1928. Found a bottle that said 1928 on it. Felt like I was compelled to do whatever. But I can only drink so much on a Wednesday night. So I have to carry it over into Thursday.
Unless you're like me, and I can pretty much anyway. Randy the Ram Robinson. The
Now
West.
this one should be high on there, but I have the feeling the wrestler's a little not as remembered as it should be.
Well, I think though this is sort of like my Schindler's List movie. You got to watch it, but you don't want to watch that again.
Understood.
You know, I'm not even in the Oscars like I used to be. Although we'll make, like I said, we're gonna make our own one. I think that's a great idea. We'll put on our tuxes and we'll just sort of like award shit.
That was it. Nikki Gunn 2.5, where they're at the Oscars, and he's like looking at all the envelopes. So, like they added 117 new categories. It picks up best directing in a Columbus movie.
Oh yeah, didn't they have like two of them dueling Columbus?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
1492 in Columbus.
yeah.
Well, neither of those have held up, my friend. Neither of those have held up.
1493, the year this. Now we're pissed.
Yeah.
You know, uh, Cal Naughton's a finalist, so I think Cal Naughton's going to finish last because here's a finalist, Ricky Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Bobby has not gotten in. Will Ferrell is absolutely. I just love this guy as this sort of a athletic goofball because he's done so much, not given enough credit. I think Will Ferrell could be a double inductee this year on the other side.
And Jackie Moon at some point, I think, will find its way in as well.
I think so. I don't know why it doesn't get as much love as it should, but whatever. The final one is Shane Falco, a Red Blitz.
Whoa.
From The Replacements, cute film, not very accurate at all, but who gives a shit? There's something about was it about Shane Falco? Something about Keanu Reeves that if you would have told me after Bill and Ted, as much as I love that movie, as you know, I've got because I have a Wild Stallions T-shirt somewhere, as you've seen. I would never have thought that he would still be relevant today because the guy is not a great actor, but he's just a great human being. And sometimes that's good enough.
Yeah, I was watching. It was last year. There was a movie. I can't remember. There was it was a rom com starring two Asian people, and I can't remember.
Netflix?
Yeah, it was a Netflix film. I can't
Okay.
remember. And at one point, she was dating.
I can see it. Ali Wong and Randall Park, right? Never saw that.
Ali Wong and Randall Park. That is correct.
Yeah.
But Ali Wong at one point is dating Keanu Reeves, and they go out to a restaurant, and he wants to be super jealous and be a jerk to him, but Keanu Reeves is still Keanu Reeves. Okay. It's super hard for me. He doesn't know what to do.
You're almost successfully selling me a rom-com.
It's a movie that you should watch. Hold on, let me get the name of it. I enjoyed it very much. I'm just really bad.
I want to say Always Be My Maybe.
Always, it very well could be. Let's see. Always Be My Maybe is correct. My goodness.
Bad for a film I haven't seen.
Wow.
Having said that, Pauline and I, we struggled to remember when we said, okay, so how many years have we been together? And we were going back and forth. We couldn't remember if it was 19 or 20. And then we thought it was 20. And so like we told the restaurant, okay, it's our 20th anniversary. It's the 20th anniversary of the day we met. Back in those times, we didn't tell people that we met on online dating.
I was amazed they had the internet then.
That's good. Well done. Age jokes at my expense will always work for you because no matter how old and decrepit you are, I will always be older and more decrepit. Better looking from the neck up, but still older and decrepit.
Sure, I'll give it to you.
Let me have that.
I'm giving it to you.
I appreciate that.
So
it's probably not true, but that's okay.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, who gives a shit? We're both married and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're married and married does not matter. So
okay, so here's the contributors. Someone who I'm big on. Let's see if all of you are. Coach Klein from The Waterboy. The Waterboy, yeah, okay. It's a goofy, stupid movie, but I have these plays. He's got these great plays. He's a great mind, but he's in the body of Henry Winkler, but it all worked out because he found the Waterboy. So,
yep, I'm a big fan of Henry Winkler in anything. So he's actually going to be in the second season of the animated version of the Dungeons and Dragons show I care about. So there you go. He's going to be one of the voices.
That's not the one you sent me the link to where it's all sort of sarcastic, right?
Yeah, oh, it's very much that one. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Or maybe I should. Where do you find that?
The second season comes out on Prime on the 20th of January.
Okay, yeah, I don't have that. Hmm.
Oh, okay, but it's great, and he will be involved, so that's very
Okay.
exciting.
No, I mean it's the Fonz.
Yeah,
I
100%.
don't care. I don't care how many plot holes there are in Happy Days. I don't care that I can't really watch that again because I did see a few episodes back when I was in Hamilton, Toronto. There's a my dad will just watch the same shit over and over again. So, Dad, if you're
Mm-hmm.
watching, you watch the same shit over and over again.
Mm-hmm. And I also went to college with both of his daughters. So
Oh, shit.
you never heard my Henry Winkler story?
No, I mean I'm sure I've told you my Henry Winkler story.
Well, so we knew that from his older daughter that
Okay.
the younger daughter was going to be touring campus.
Uh
So we found out when the tour was. We just kept hiding behind buildings, going, "Hey!"
huh.
You thought it was funny for a few times, and eventually was like, "Guys." So it's not much of a Henry Winkler story, but
Well, I told you the one with Chavo, right?
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. All right, so where are we next?
Darcy Sears from Varsity Blues, and okay,
Best performance by whipped cream in a movie.
yeah, okay, yeah, you came up with something better than I did because like I can't honestly. This is one of my favorite films. I love this sports movie. Saying that, I'm befuddled why this is the one, and I know that okay, well, because she's hot, blah blah blah. There's a lot of hot people you can vote on, and they're not voted on.
Eh,
So I don't know.
you're voting. I'm telling you, man, you're voting for the whipped cream.
Makes more sense than anything. I think it's this guy's year, George Costanza.
It could be this guy's year. I think somebody else says it should be their year first, but
It
Costanza's, of
should
course.
be. It should be. It'd be probably the next one, Hayden Fox from Coach.
Actually, no, that's not who I was thinking.
Okay.
But George Costanza, of course, is a lot of people love that show. I
Mhm.
thought it was fine. I thought Seinfeld was
I got to
fine.
do a show with you and Chris because like Chris never watched that show, and then he never watched MASH.
Oh,
Uh,
I watched a lot of MASH.
yeah, yeah, but I mean, like I'm trying to explain MASH episodes, and it's like,
Yeah,
what am I doing?
Seinfeld was funny and it was fine. I don't think I enjoyed watching it. I didn't enjoy watching it as much as other people did. It's certainly light years better than Friends.
I'll admit I had to take a few years off because like it just even in reruns, you can't look at Michael Richards the same way.
Understood.
I can't. Uh,
Also, the geography of that hallway means that that his apartment couldn't exist. That also always bothered me
well, now, damn it, I never thought of that.
because the hallway should cut right through the corner of his kitchen. So from the angle it's at.
I'll move on because that's last thing on Hayden Fox. The guy won a national championship. Oh, she want to come out? Okay.
He won a national championship
Yeah.
at a school that didn't exist, so they invented the college.
Not only that, he won the national championship at a school with the most incompetent staff. So how good must he have been? Of course, he hired those incompetence.
Here's a deep cut. Moon. That spells offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. That's a deep cut right there.
I got it. I got it too.
Yeah.
Uh, perfect casting if you ever read the book.
And we can do that. He starred in Coach with Hayden Fox, who starred in The Stand, which is what that was from, with Garrett Sinise, who was in The Quick and the Dead with Sharon Stone. So there you go. Sharon Stone's dad in The Quick and the Dead.
It was Marshall's dad in How I Met Your Mother, owner of one of the worst endings of all time. Also, like one of the worst.
By the way, my wife and I predicted that because we watch every episode of that. We predicted
Okay.
that 3 seasons ahead of time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were like, yeah, clearly the mother we don't know her yet. She's going to die and it's going to get back with Robin. We knew that was going to happen. Because otherwise, why is he talking about the mom with the kids? Yeah. Why does he talk about the kids on there about How I Met Your Mother if the mother was still alive? It didn't make any sense. She would have shown up at some point.
And when did he get that throat injury to sound like Bob Saget? But anyway, all right, this one, as much as I love John Candy, okay, guys, I know you're voting. It's all your vote. I love John Candy too, but Irv Blitzer really didn't exist. but at
Hmm?
least you recognize. I don't know. Cool Runnings. Is it?
Come
I've
on.
never. It's
Sanka Coffee is totally a real name that's not at all racist.
yeah. What was the names of the Sanka Coffee, Yul Brenner?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Uh,
Oh, fuck. Sanka Coffee, Yul Brenner. Well, Doris Bannock, which is the only one that wasn't. And
yeah. Doris Bannock, Sanka Coffee, Yul Brenner, and Junior Bevel.
okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, Sanka Coffee is one that always just got me. So,
Yes, because that can really happen in the Olympics, where the first time they ever went in an actual bobsled was in the trial. But anyway, all right, Jerry Maguire, probably the biggest name on this that just doesn't get a lot of love, and I get it. You know, we talked about rom-coms earlier. That's really not what our people probably who vote on this probably watch.
yeah, I think Jerry Maguire will get in eventually. I just think there are too many other good contributors on this list at the moment still for him to be there.
I think the one that's going to get in, I think this is the one you were talking about earlier, just because how awesome the show is. Although I haven't watched season 5 yet. Have you?
No.
No, okay. Uh, John Kreese.
Yeah, I think John Kreese. There's the amount of Cobra Kai shirts you'll see around at this
I,
point.
I have one.
Yeah, the way of the fist: strike fast, strike hard, no mercy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I kept account when back in November when I was down in Florida. I kept account of sports jerseys I saw for the local teams.
Oh yeah.
I saw two Dolphins shirts. I saw one Marlins shirt, and I actually saw three Miami FC shirts. That was the most I saw. Was the Inter Miami one, but more. I'm sorry, not Miami. I saw three Orlando FC shirts. Excuse me. I saw one Magic jersey, but I saw nine Cobra Kai shirts when I was down in
Worn
Orlando.
by younger people, older people.
All over.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a little. I saw a couple of kids. I saw probably the oldest person I saw was some guy in his mid 40s, but there are a lot of Cobra Kai things down there.
I guarantee whoever writes that show is a fan of pro wrestling. The heel face turns on that show are just.
Well, I mean, going back to How I Met Your Mother, Zabka's redemption arc started on with Barney Stinson on How I Met Your Mother. So,
Zabka, love it. That's someone who we could probably get.
yeah,
I would love to talk to him.
Zabka, I bet so.
Yeah. Lou Brown, Major League, because there's still. I lied when I said there's nothing left from Major League. Lou Brown, who I think.
Gaggers.
Yeah. Yeah.
You lollygagged to first base. You lolly.
You got it wrong again. That's Bull Durham.
Oh fuck! I need to watch both those movies again. I'm sorry. I should just probably stop talking about baseball movies. So which of those movies is the one with Tom Selleck? I'm kidding. I know that's Mr. Baseball.
I took someone to a date for that one, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
I remember the movie more than whoever I took.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And someone who's always nominated but never in, Terrence Mann.
That's another one eventually you'll get in. I still think there's
Field of Dreams.
fans of Fox and Kreese. I think you need to get at least a couple of those in before we're having Terrence Mann conversations.
I think, as we get to the fictitious veterans, there's only 3 left, but I think you'll be disappointed. This is your Claude Furlow thing did not work.
Yeah, I tried.
Yes. So we got Frank Capua winning portrayed by Paul Newman, which wouldn't surprise me because it's Paul Newman.
Right.
My vote personally is for this one, Velvet Brown, Elizabeth Taylor, the role that made her.
Mm-hmm.
And the one I don't get because Elvis sucked in almost every movie as Kid Galahad.
Yeah, but he's Elvis. So.
Yeah, but we're not talking about an Elvis song. We're talking about an Elvis movie.
Yeah, but I mean, Greta Muller should be here. Let's be honest. I tried.
You tried. Claude Frollo won that whole thing, right?
Oh yeah, unanimously when we got to the final.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Well, it means the only time that genocide's ever worked well for somebody. Syphilis and genocide. Okay, let's go on to dead people. This is
that
one
was
of the moments I wish I did.
That was oddly an effective transition, even if it was improper. All right, so let's start with the Beige Mistress. Claimed a couple of
Oh
people
no,
this
who we
week.
lose?
Mihaly Huska, age 89, a Hungarian weightlifter from the 60 and 64 Olympics, passed away. And Grand Chess Master, International Master and Grandmaster in chess, Ivan Farago, passed away at the age of 76.
So Ivan Farago. So like when he would sort of like go there, you go, I must break you, and then you have to reset the sword.
Pretty much. I mean, I can't imagine. There's got to be a lot of trash talk in chess. So,
I just learned somebody who works for my wife had chess lessons at a chess teacher when she was in her native Sri Lanka, to sort of
wow.
to sort of learn.
Yeah. Well, good for
chess coach.
Yeah. Well, there you go. All right. So passing away this week, just out of before we get into the people we normally do, just a few outside passed away I want to bring up. Do you ever watch the Rockford Files?
I just like the opening theme because it sounded awesome, but I never
The
watched
Rockford
it.
Files, I still to this day say it's the greatest cop show of all time.
You said that before. Yeah, my grandfather always hated it because he wanted all the cops to fight.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that and Simon is also massively underrated, but also Barney Miller, but that was more comedy.
Barney Miller was great. There's no way Simon and Simon were brothers. Look at those two. They look nothing alike. They need to have a serious conversation with their parents.
Yes, well, Gerald McRaney did become a major dad, so who knows? So Angel from the Rockford Files, Stuart Margolin passed away at the age of 82. Also passed away Richard Miller, who is a visual effects artist who worked on all sorts of things, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Star Trek First Contact, The Rocketeer, a whole bunch of stuff. But most importantly, he's the one who created Princess Leia's bikini. So there you go.
There you go. Sorry, Winnie is making an appearance. So Winnie the Jet, who was featured on Winnipeg Jets Dogs on Instagram. So you can check Winnie out in her Jets jersey.
Excellent. So he passed away at the age of 80. Also passing away at the age of 40. I want to bring this up. Twitch, Stephen Boss.
Yeah, that stuck on Twitter for a long time. Usually when someone passes, play that cycle for maybe 6 hours. Like that was pretty much an all day thing.
I think it's just because, and I'm not comparing their overall careers, but like when Robin Williams committed suicide in 2014, it was kind of shocking. It's just someone we all thought was so happy all the time. And the jokester, and Twitch was just always so positive and happy and joyful in his dancing and everything. I remember we watched him. We loved him on So You Think You Can Dance back in 2008 when he first was on there. He finished second that season. He was
is that how we got the Nolan show?
That's where he started, yeah.
Okay.
But he also was a mentor on So You Think You Can Dance for a while. He ended up as a judge at one point. But just absolute, if you can imagine joy personified when somebody was out there, it was Twitch.
Yeah, but I hate to say it, right? But I only knew him peripherally from the Ellen show, right? And that was, as we learned later, one of the most toxic workplaces.
Agreed.
So, and I think sort of like when that wall sort of came crumbling down around Ellen, you'd hear all these rumblings and whispers, and I'm gonna use this line later when I go to my elevator up, elevator down. It just okay, I can't, because I wasn't really that familiar with him, but because of who he was associated with, like you have to wonder. And I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'll say that about Ellen, but I'm not going to say that about Twitch.
I mean that's a whole separate thing. So
right, and that's not even relevant to this. But it goes back to like what you said about Robin Williams. What you put out in front of you is so different than what is. Do we learn anything? I mean, we know he took suicide, but like when after Robin's life, we know because he had Lewy body dementia.
I don't know. I didn't look into it that deeply. So
I think when someone takes their own life, I mean this it's like when I talked a couple of years ago about Hana Kimura. It was a Japanese pro wrestler who took her life because she was cyberbullied. in her early 20s and had the whole world in front of her and should have been a major star, even on this side, even though she didn't speak English. It wouldn't have mattered. You just don't know,
man. Yeah, 100%. I think that, and I think that's why it trended for as long as it did. So
yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted your
no,
thought.
no, that's fine. It
Yeah.
makes sense. So, moving on to the things we normally cover. Passed away Canadian League football coach and the winner of the 1989 Grey Cup, John Gregory, who coached the I believe Saskatoon, right?
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan, excuse me, Saskatchewan Roughriders, who won the Grey Cup in 1989 with a regular season record of 9-9, and then still went on to win the Grey Cup. But he was their coach, passed away at the age of 84. He also won another Grey Cup as a player.
Hey, someone's going to make it from the NFC South with a losing record to the playoffs. So there you go.
Yeah. From the world of, we have a bunch of people from the world of music. Let's start with Herbert Deutsch, passed away at the age of 90. Probably best known for co-inventing the Moog synthesizer, which had a major effect. Bob Moog was the guy who they named after, but Herbert Deutsch was his partner in that. He was 90 years old.
As big as that gets.
Yep. Also passing away, Grammy Award winner Angelo Badalamenti, who won the award for, believe it or not, best pop instrumental performance for the Twin Peaks theme, believe it or not. But he did a whole bunch of other compositions, including Blue Velvet with David Lynch. Also recorded with Nina Simone, Shirley Bassey, Dusty Springfield, the Pet Shop Boys, Marianne Faithfull, David Bowie, Susie Zhu, and Dolores O'Riordan, among others. He passed away at the age of 85. Also passing away, Canadian singer-songwriter Shirley Eichhardt passed away at the age of 67. Member of the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame, probably best known for writing the Bonnie Raitt hit Something to Talk About, which basically owned the 1991 music scene so much that they actually made a movie called Something to Talk About in 1995.
She in that?
Is Bonnie Raitt in that?
Yeah.
I don't believe so. I think that is. Hold on. I think it's Bull Durham. Something to Talk About is Julia Roberts.
I can't correct you because I wouldn't have seen it. So
it's Julia Roberts and Dennis Quaid.
Well, no, it was Bonnie Raitt in there in some capacity.
No. Let's see.
I think Buchner, my last name in German, which is supposed to be Buchner. I think it must be derailer. That's what really would it
mean. Does it just mean bookmaker?
I don't know.
I think so.
I think half my relatives never read a book.
Oh.
I wrote one, which I can plug later.
Yeah, we could talk about that. Also passed away, Georgia Holt at the age of 96. Had a singing career of her own, but probably best known for being married to a John Sarkeesian and giving him a child, Cherlyn Sarkeesian, better known as Cher.
Oh, okay.
But she was married to John Sarkeesian from 46 to 47, got divorced, married John Southall from 51 to 55. They got married for 55, divorced 61, married 61, divorced in 64, married 64, divorced at 66, married in 70, divorced at 74. And then found a guy who she's been with since 76, but never married, so they never got divorced. Yeah, so she passed away at the age of 96.
You don't think Cher's still having a mother, which I don't know why I say that, but she's been around for so long.
I know.
But yeah.
Also passing away, Ayub Bey, also known as Granddaddy IU, from the hip hop group The Juice Crew from the 1980s. He passed away at the age of 54. We also lost. Kim Simmons, the founder, guitarist, primary songwriter, and the only consistent member of Savoy Brown, passed away at the age of 75. He was with Savoy Brown from 1965 through 2002. That is a long time with one band.
Yes, it is.
Also passing away, J.J. Barnes, R&B singer, started his career with a member of the Holidays. Can you name the? I'll give you one of the other members was Steve Mancha. Can you name the third member of the Holidays?
I cannot.
Edwin Starr. War. Good God, yo.
That's something I've been kicking around to do for the #1 show.
Great song.
I've never what a great song to talk about. A song, an anti-war song that makes you want to beat somebody up.
Yeah, pretty much. Aren't that many of those? But he with
I think that's 1 in 1A. I can't think of another.
Yeah. With the Holidays, he had a couple of hits. Hit number 7. His biggest one on his own was number 9 with "Baby Please Come Home," which hit number 9 in 1966.
Darling Love?
No, it's a completely different song.
I'm thinking of the Christmas one.
Yeah, it's "Baby Please Come Back Home." Excuse me, I missed a word. But he passed away at the age of 79. Also, Tracy Hitchings, lead singer of the progressive rock band Landmark, passed away at the age of 60. And probably the biggest name we lost in music this week, Dino Danelli passed away, the drummer for the Young Rascals.
Good love.
Yeah. So, been called one of the great underappreciated rock drummers in history, a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I could say that. Yeah.
Passed away at the age of 78. It didn't say from what.
Mm-hmm.
Also played with Little Steve and the Disciples of Soul for a while. So that probably didn't hurt them getting into the Rock Hall, but just, anyway, but they would have gotten in on their own. We have four biggest names we lost this week. A member of the Basketball Hall of Fame and the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, Billy Moore, passed away at the age of 79. Won 2 national championships in the AIAW, which was like the precursor to the NCAA. Also coached the 1975 gold medal Mexico City Pan Am Games, and he won the silver in Montreal Olympic Games as a coach. She passed away at the age of 79. Spent most of her career with UCLA. So.
Okay.
She made the Final Fours in 70, 72, 75, 78, and 79. So, also from the world of basketball, Paul Silas.
Yeah, I figured that was going to hit you a bit as a Celtics fan.
Yeah. Played with the Hawks, Suns, Celtics, Nuggets, and Sonics. Coached the San Diego Clippers. Yes, they used to play in San Diego. Hornets, both in Charlotte and New Orleans, Cavaliers, and the Bobcats. 3-time NCAA champion, 3-time NBA champion, twice with the Celtics, once with that Sonics team. 2-time All-Star, 2-time defensive first team, 3-time defensive second team. Numbers retired by the Creighton Blue Jays. A member of the College Basketball Hall of Fame. He was inducted in 2017.
Yeah, and a fringe candidate for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, ranked on our list.
Yep.
So,
11,000 career points, but only 9.4 points per game and 9.9 rebounds a game, which probably hurts a little bit.
Only one ball on the court.
That is true.
Yeah, there's a reason why he was a champion. There's a reason why he became, not the most successful head coach, but again, look who he had.
Yeah.
No disrespect, or maybe I'm disrespecting. You're not going to win anything in the early days. If you had, all right, I'm coaching in the NBA. Great. Who's your team? The Charlotte Bobcats.
Yeah.
So, yeah. San Diego Clippers. But yeah, I would have loved to have seen what he could have done with some talent around him as a coach. That would have been really interesting to see.
I mean, he was LeBron's first coach in the NBA. So,
Oh, that's right.
but that was before LeBron was fully LeBron. So,
Yeah.
but he passed away at the age of 79.
Mhm.
Couple more people from the baseball. Kurt Simmons passed away. Pitcher on the Whiz Kids Phillies teams.
Mhm.
Pitched. He was a member of the 1964 Cardinals that won the World Series. Three-time All-Star, member of the Philadelphia Phillies Wall of Fame. Passed away at the age of 93.
Had a long, long career because if you played in the Whiz Kids, that would have been 51.
Yeah, he was played with the Phillies from 47 through 60. The Cardinals from 60 to 66, Cubs 66, 67 to finish his career at the Angels in 67. So that's 20 years in the majors.
My favorite sort of like nickname that was sort of bestowed upon a team was at the '83 Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
Aging Joe Morgan, Pete Rose, and they called them the Wheeze Kids.
Well, that's actually a good transition to the last person.
Oh,
Speaking,
I wasn't going for that.
speaking of wheezing, the Pirate coach himself, Mike Leach, coach of
Mm.
Mississippi State, passed away at the age of 61.
Oh,
Believe it or
so
not,
beloved,
I'm sorry.
so beloved. I mean, like that's another
Yeah,
one. Just like
they did huge segment on him here on the sports station in Chicago, just with his
really.
quotes, just with his quotes from press conferences.
Oh wow. But
On
that just shows so much, right? Because like his big days were in Washington, and now was he with Mississippi or Mississippi? Mississippi State.
Mississippi State,
Okay, and I apologize. I watch a lot of college
and
football.
he was with Washington State.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was Washington. Okay.
No, Texas Tech, Washington State, Mississippi.
Okay. All right. Because I did see his credentials because I saw quite a few things where he's not college football Hall of Fame eligible because he doesn't meet that 600 winning percentage
He needs
threshold.
3 more wins.
Yeah. And they're going to a bowl. I don't remember which bowl. I apologize. Uh, Frankly, anyone can get to a bowl nowadays. I think you and I can put together a team and make it to the Bahamas Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we forgot to play that game. Does Evan know these companies that are sponsoring bowls?
We still have time. We can do that next time.
Yeah, but the bowl season starts tomorrow or in 2 days.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
Yeah, we still could do it. It's not like you're going to be watching the dipshit bowl presented by
The Pinstripe Bowl presented by the New York Yankees.
No, I think actually it's the Wasabi Bowl now. Or Wasabi.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I know what Wasabi is. I didn't know it was a company.
Yeah,
Mm.
I don't know either. So anyway, but he passed away suddenly at the age of 61 of a massive, massive heart attack.
Mm.
So
It was nice to see sort of the love from people in the SEC, which is not exactly known for their kindness towards others.
yeah, particularly
Yeah, but no, I mean that was sort of a yeah interesting to see. Oh, what are your thoughts on Dion going to Colorado? I know you're not a college football person, but
I'm not. I did enjoy Bomani Jones's take on it,
okay, what do you say?
saying that he doesn't begrudge Dion going to Colorado to a big program. He just is. Dion went in there saying that he was going to turn around the HBCU thing and make it relevant again and a whole thing. And he sold everybody a dream and then walked out on it right as it was getting interesting.
Sure.
So I'm not surprised. I'm surprised he went to Colorado. Um, I mean, that's a program that's fallen on some tough times, but has a great history.
I
I'm
didn't
not
see what
surprised.
Bomani said. I agree with that. Saying that Jackson State and they're better off than how he found it.
For now.
Still, that statement's still going to be true.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah. As for that, I mean, I don't know. I guess as a Canadian, right? I can't because the whole HBCU that doesn't exist here.
Right.
So
Well, that's because your racism didn't go to that sort of things. So
not that I'm
you just
yeah, and I'm not
Canadian racism just took natives from their parents put them in Catholic schools and then killed them if they were acting up.
I got nothing. You're right.
Yeah, I mean that's your version of racism. Ours includes that as well, probably, but also a whole bunch of other stuff where they didn't want white people and black people going to the same school, so they had to set up their a whole new.
Yeah, and some of them wound up owning the Dallas Cowboys.
It's true. So anyway,
Which
yeah.
is a great segue because he's an
Elevator up, elevator down.
elevator down. Because this section is elevator up, elevator down. And this is where I look at somebody and say, okay, who's got a better shot at their respective Hall of Fame and who doesn't? And you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, Jerry Jones is already in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but he's not in ours. Not in the United States Athletic Hall of Fame, and he is nominated as a contributor. And if I was a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, at least I knew that Jerry Jones wanted my team to win. I've seen owners, and you've seen owners, I'm sure, that you didn't give a shit one way or the other.
The Cubs fans right now feel that way about the Ricketts.
Right, and there's piles of them that exist right now. Jerry, having said that, and LeBron was correct when he brought more light to it, saying that, though. I mean, like when people said, how come you're not asking me about this, but asking me about Kyrie? Maybe because you played with Kyrie? But I mean, that's neither here nor there. Jerry Jones has always had a shit reputation. Let's be blunt. And when you see that, because I didn't know about that picture until you brought that up to me. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't really notice it, or it wasn't on my news cycle, which is more accurate, I suppose. You can't unsee that. And yeah, he was 14, and yeah, I'm sure he is embarrassed by it. Did he apologize for that?
He's admitted it was him, but never really said much about it. Okay. It's one of those things. The Andy Pettit. You get out in front of it and be like, hey, I was involved in this as a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't know any better. I was raised in this whole society and whatever. I was wrong at the time. I've learned over the last 60 years of my life that that's not the way to go. I'm in that picture, but I've grown a lot since that point. I mean, literally, that's all he has to do. Get out.
Because there's nothing wrong with saying I'm disgusted at myself at what I did at age 14.
100%.
I mean, just like I think Prince Harry, when he looks at himself in that old Nazi uniform at a Halloween party.
Yeah.
You know, I no fan of the monarchy, period, even the ones who leave it, but I'll take him at his face value, although I don't think that he's a Nazi. I think that he thought it was a stupid costume that was just, he was trying to make some people laugh because he didn't know him any better.
And to be honest, that's like the 73rd worst thing that the current monarchy, people in the monarchy have done over the last, 25 years. So
none of which I give a shit about when it comes right down to it. But I mean, like, but at the same time, I guess going back to like what we said about that one hockey player, what point do you get a pass? At what point?
The guy who the Bruins signed and then cut 3 days later.
Right. But Jerry hasn't necessarily said a bunch of shit because he feels he doesn't have to. And this is a legacy sort of changing thing. I mean, you can't undo what you did at 14, but you can sort of say, like, I'm not that fucking kid anymore. And pardon my language, but I mean, like, I'm trying to think of dumb shit I ever did at 14, nothing like that, but none of us are the same people we are from 14 to 80 or whatever it is he is. So I'm not pleased with the way, well, I'm not a Cowboy fan, so I can't really say it bothers me that much, but you got to be a better person than that. But that's one. My second elevator down is Kyler Murray, who I mentioned earlier, and I forget who it was. You hear like whispers, and then it just gets louder and louder. At the start of the season, we were sort of hearing things like, "Hey, Kyler's gonna regress." Like a lot of people just like they knew something was going to happen with him. Kyler has not had a good year before he got injured, and he's a mobile quarterback who's now out with an ACL. We know what happens to mobile.
He's a short, more mobile quarterback too.
That's also
That makes a big difference if you can't run around.
Yeah, that's also very valid. So Kyler, there's apparently some attitude issues with him. You can shake shitty attitudes, you can grow out of it, but a torn ACL, now it's a totally different ballgame. And you're right. I wasn't even thinking about the fact of his height, and that will play a factor. Kyler is a two-time Pro Bowler. He's not going to get a third. Not this year, but he's not going to. Period. And that's unfortunate. He's one of my most favorite players to watch. Not necessarily someone I always wanted as my quarterback, because I always had that lingering doubt, which I guess has sort of been proven right. Having said that, look at my quarterback, Andy Dalton. But anyway,
hey, but you guys are just 2 games out of the playoffs.
Yeah,
At 4-9.
At 4-9, 2 games out of the playoffs, and I think they're going to win 2 more games this season. Anyway, but yeah, Kyler Murray is my elevator down, and not necessarily because of what's in between his ears right now, but just because you can change from that. You can grow up, and we've seen that before with other young quarterbacks. But you can't, that type of quarterback.
Yeah,
you're in trouble. He's in massive trouble. So every year I do that preseason thing where I look at the ranked 150 players and their Hall of Fame chances. Kyler's not going to go up, and that's not going to bode well. For a young QB. So he's my main elevator down.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I don't have any other ones. Although, do you remember like a couple months ago I said, like, here's everyone's elevator up on wrestling. Everybody, because Triple H took over. Vince McMahon now wants to come back. If that happens, that's a massive elevator down for everybody. Because I've actually been watching wrestling again since he's been gone. I don't know if I said this to you before, but he's the Al Davis of wrestling. Massive genius, created so much, massively influential, and then couldn't get out of it, and then was the biggest liability.
Maybe he could sell some $99 NFT trading cards himself. Get some money back to take back over. I don't want to go into politics, but that was hilarious.
You know what an NFT is?
No. It's absolutely hilarious. NFTs are one of the big, I'm on record, one of the biggest grifts of all time. And the fact that.
And how can Trump be associated with it?
I know. I don't want to go into that. Just, he had the whole thing yesterday about it. He had a big announcement tomorrow. His big announcement was that.
I did see it, because I, as much as a lot of people are been banned off Twitter, I'm not one of them, so I can sort of see what's going on. So yeah, I did see major announcement trending, and then
that whoever created them ripped off the Walmart catalog. There's a picture of him as a cowboy. That's legitimately one of the coats in the Walmart catalog, just recolored and put on with Trump's head on top of it. So
I'm telling you,
it's just the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Not caring as much has made me so much happier.
I understand.
Yes.
I don't care. I've largely forgotten. I largely don't pay attention, but that was just so funny today.
It is. So now we close off with are we doing ugly last? Because last week you threw me a curveball there.
Yeah, let's do today's the good, the ugly, and the let's see. How's that?
Wah wah. Huh?
Yeah, pretty much. So let's start with the good.
All right.
I just want to talk about the changing of the guard in the Western Conference of the NBA.
Okay.
So the Suns, we know, made the finals a couple seasons ago. But let me just read you the top 8 teams currently in the Western Conference.
Yeah, please.
The Pelicans, Grizzlies, Nuggets, Blazers, Suns, Clippers, Kings, and Jazz. What are those 8 teams have in common? Well, 7 of those teams, except the Blazers. What are those other?
They've never won a title.
They've never won a title, and the Blazers won one back so long ago. Bill Walton could walk without a limp, right? So,
Fun.
yeah, that was a long time.
Yeah, it's a good thing Bill Walton wasn't in Bull Durham, huh? Otherwise, you wouldn't have got that joke right. Sorry. Usually,
No,
you're scoring points on the buck. So.
I've completely conflated a lot of the scenes from those two movies. It's just because I haven't seen either of them in.
Oh yeah, because all baseball players look together too, don't they?
They all look together to me.
Look alike. Sorry, jeez, fucked up. Damn it! This
Yeah,
is what
I love the
I
scene
get high and mighty, huh?
I love the scene where Pedro Serrano blows up the lights with the home run. Yeah. Anyway, but just I've said this before. Basketball has never had more talent than it does right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Bill Simmons talked about this because he does his trade value thing that he's been doing for years and years and years. Mm-hmm. And there are times he did like 40 whatever. This time he had like 70 players, and number 70, at least in his original thing, it's going to be coming out sometime this week. But his original number 70 was Kawhi Leonard for the trade value chart, mm-hmm. based off of age and injury and everything else. But if Kawhi Leonard's your 70th most valuable trade asset, you're doing pretty well as a league.
Think about this here too. Like one of the teams that are not in that top 8 has one of the top players, and I'm not talking about Anthony Davis, who's doing phenomenal. He's actually
Anthony Davis hit the juvenation machine.
Yeah, and I've always liked him, but then we also have that great young Canadian, and I got to sort of like go, Canada, with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, he's
doing phenomenal on a team with really no help.
No, he's doing that entirely on his own.
Yeah.
I hope they build something around that kid because he is super fun to watch. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the Rockets and Spurs are pretty much out of it. The next 5 teams, the Mavericks, Warriors, Wolves, Lakers, and Thunder, are all at least sort of competing. The game between the Celtics and Lakers a couple nights ago was fantastic. Celtics up 20, Lakers are up 13 with 4.5 minutes left, and Celtics came back to tie it.
Makes you wonder how the Warriors were even contenders last year, because like it's the same team that won the title, but ages hit everyone but Curry.
Yeah, and now Curry's injured for the next 11 games.
So, was it 11? Okay.
Yeah, he's out probably for the next 11 games with a shoulder.
That's really going to hurt him to win that prestigious Hall of Fame Cup, which is located right here, down here in Mount Manitoba. And it's guarded by
Winnie the Jet.
Yes, Winnie guards it. So I mean,
Winnie and the Jets.
Winnie.
But just in general, I think that the Celtics and Bucks, whoever wins that series, is likely to win the NBA championship, because I think those are the 2 best teams. No offense to any of those Western teams or the Cavaliers. And the Nets are turning around, but I don't believe in them long term.
Well, but that's the other thing with the basketball, right? You've got to sort of like go through. You got to get punched in the face a couple times,
mm-hmm.
In playoffs. So like a lot of these new teams in the West, yeah, they can beat each other up, but they're not going to be ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, Milwaukee needed a bit of time to sort of get through, because it's pretty much still the same team.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Right, because, I mean, Milwaukee's won a championship. The Celtics, I mean, Jason Tatum is 24 and has played 80 playoff games at this point. He's played almost an entire extra season of playoff games.
And he's getting better.
Jaylen Brown's actually 25, or I think he just turned 26. And he's played 83. Or 84, 84 playoff games. So he's played over a whole season. So those guys are used to it. Milwaukee's used to it. Brooklyn's been through it. The Sixers have been through it. The Heat have been through it if they can get their head out of their butt.
I don't see it.
I don't either. The Raptors, again, another team I don't see it with either, but they at least have it. The Western teams, the Grizzlies are the closest to a playoff tested team out of that group, other than the Suns, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see exactly what happens. I expect the Jazz are going to fall off, but it's just great to see the Kings playing well. It's great to see the Pelicans. That Pelicans team may not win the title this year. If they keep their guys and they keep growing, they could win a title as soon as next season, maybe the year after.
a lot of it's on Zion being healthy because no disrespect to Jonas Valanciunas, who was a great player, but Jonas can't be that guy.
No, and talk about somebody whose attitude changed as they grew up. Zion looks like a man possessed. He looks angry. He looks back to his, like, he looks like he just dropped a whole bunch of weight just in anger to keep going. So that team is absolutely incredible to watch. It would be wonderful to see. Can you imagine a Memphis, New Orleans?
It'll be fun to watch, but I mean, who would carry that? I guess TNT. They would be pissed.
Well, we'll see. But I don't think it matters. I hate saying this because I'm going to regret it later. I don't think the West matters that much this year, just because I think the Celtics, the Bucks are that much better currently than every other team. So,
well, why should I be the only one who regrets things he says here?
fair enough. Speaking of which, not just things that regrets. The bets that we made, each of us has a team left for the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
You got France and I got Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
So it's coming down to the wire here.
I think we should both feel equally the same.
Yeah, the computers have run the simulation 1,000 times, and it's essentially, I think, France won 506 and Argentina won 494. So that's as close as you can get, pretty much, to an even match. So no offense to Mbappe. He's already won a championship. I want Messi to get his, and then Mbappe can win the next one. I don't care. So anyway, so that's my that is my good. My bad, or I guess my ugly, honestly, is the National Labor Relations Board has filed a suit against USC and the Pac-12, claiming that their football, women's basketball, and men's basketball players are actually employees of the university. And if they win that suit, basically all players everywhere can unionize in the NCAA, which is going to be a massive problem for college athletics.
Be crippling.
100%. That's why I'm saying ugly, not because I don't know how I necessarily feel about the idea that they are actually employees, but they do make the university money. It's an interesting argument. I'd have to think about it a little bit more because this has happened today. But just what that would do to the NCAA and the getting rid of the full facade of amateurism, and what that then the trickle down effect is for rowing and fencing and track and field and other sports. Yeah, what that actually means overall is going to be an interesting development.
Not just that. I mean, think about how. So let's play the dominoes, right? So we know that in American college athletics, football and to a lesser extent basketball, depending on the school, pretty much runs runs everything. That's where
football runs everything. If the basketball mattered, the Big East would still be the old Big East.
Okay, so there are certain exceptions to that rule. I know, like wrestling in Iowa, Nebraska do pretty well, but generally speaking, you've got it's football, basketball, and everything else.
Right.
So one of the big things too, I mean, and every time you think of Maurice Claret or Ohio State, I think of Maurice Claret, somebody who sued to try to go in to be eligible for the draft, and it didn't work out, and he wound up in jail for other things, which is there. But the United States, as much as good, bad, and different, whatever you want to feel about that, is always supposed to be the land of opportunity and capitalism, unless you're a college athlete. So it's free minor leagues in football.
Yeah, it's 100% free minor leagues. I mean, there's a thought many years ago that people were worried about players making the jump from the NCAA early to the NFL and NBA. And part of that was there was an idea that there's a racist idea that they might be able to do that. And there might have been part of it. But the problem, one of the other problems is because you can jump right out of high school to baseball and hockey. But baseball and hockey had a minor league system you could work your way through.
Exactly.
There is no minor league system in football, and the basketball minor league system has just legitimately developed over the last decade.
Well, not only that too, though. And your options in Europe have now flourished.
That's also true. Yeah,
Yes.
there's no other real option other than whatever league lasts for more than 5 games in the spring.
Yeah. I mean, LaMelo didn't go to college. I think he's doing just fine.
Yeah, right.
So there's certainly all those other options. So like it's a free feeder system and a giant cash cow. So yes, so if that sort of happens, like this keeps a lot of this other shit afloat. Now, if you are, let's say, I don't know, John Smith, whatever, from buttfuck Idaho, but you're really, really good at throwing the javelin.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're going to get a shot to probably get a free education and maybe represent your country somewhere down the road. This isn't just in the United States. This is everywhere. It's like when I was living in Barbados, I met some people down there who were good basketball players. Right. Actually, you talked to one of them, Celia, my friend.
Yeah, Celia. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So she was able to get a scholarship at Pace University, where she was part of the Division II Final Four team. So they're the first, last, and only Division IV team they've ever had. So you take that. This could all trickle down, because then where's the money for that? Where's the money for sports that don't necessarily sell? Where's Title X, not Title IX?
Yeah, this whole thing though is going to get very ugly with this case, which is one of the things to get. I mean, there's a possibility. I had, as I've said, my high school was the number one girls soccer team in the country for my first 3 years of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Freshman, sophomore, junior year, they're number one in the country. My high school had 800 kids, right?
Okay.
One of the top soccer players on the team, one of my high school classmates, in the upper middle of academically in my class, so not an idiot, but upper middle, right? Didn't deserve it. Got an academic scholarship to Harvard, right?
Mm-hmm.
She just so happened to be the top girls soccer player in the state.
What was her mom, Aunt Becky?
Her mom was not Aunt Becky.
Okay.
But she actually ended up eventually being a contestant on, I don't know if it's a Bachelorette or one of those things. She was eliminated the first night. But anyway, but so there are ways around this, but I don't know how much the academic scholarships are going to be there for that sort of thing. So it's
got its international. This will have international implications.
Yeah.
From what I know, just of living abroad.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, but it could get very, very ugly. And that actually transitions into my we'll see.
I thought that would be your let's see.
No.
Oh, okay.
Our let's see is related though.
Okay.
Because the NCAA is having a new president coming in.
Okay.
So Mark Emmert is leaving mercifully in March. Did you see who the next president's going to be?
Oh, who?
A man who I actually know decently, Charlie Baker, the current and about to be former governor of Massachusetts. So he is a Republican governor who is very popular in Massachusetts.
What's his credentials for this?
He was a Republican governor in a liberal state. That's what I could tell you. Okay. Which is why it's a wait and see. Now they are hailing this, that he's someone who's able to reach across the aisle and get to work with everybody.
I like that so far.
Yep. Spent a decade before he was governor in healthcare administration. Has no previous collegiate administrative experience at all. He did play power forward for Harvard in the 77-78 basketball season.
Mm-hmm. I remember that well. They're big.
Yeah, don't we all? But he's going to be the person who's going to be in charge of all of this going forward. Now, there's a question as to whether they hired him to deal with squabbling or whether they hired him because he's actually pretty good politically and using him to lobby Congress to get more stuff in their favor. Okay. But it's going to be interesting to see what this hire does for one of the most corrupt organizations in the world.
Or does it just corrupt him?
Charlie Baker was a decent enough governor, regardless whether you're Democrat or Republican. He was certainly not. It's hard to be a full Trump side Republican in Massachusetts and be elected to anything. But we'll see exactly where this leads going forward in terms of what he ends up doing. Because when he takes over in March, he's walking into just a complete and utter storm because they have their Division I reform report coming out in January. UCLA has gotten the okay to join the Big Ten. USC is looking to do so. There are a couple of leagues that are trying to join Division I in football, the WAC and the Sun Belt, which are currently 1AA or whatever the lower division is now called. FBS, that one, right? Are trying to move up to Division I, and there's no way we necessarily know how that's going to happen. There's a bunch of stuff all happening at once.
You know what would be great for college football? Relegation.
Mm.
You know, like they do in the EPL. All right, Vanderbilt, you're now in the Sun Belt, and Troy, you've moved up.
Well, hey, Jackson State would have get it shot in the SEC then. Maybe
I don't know how that would work for
maybe that would have to move to the Sun Belt first.
I don't know. Well, yeah, but if you're well, I don't know, but yeah, I don't. Why not? That would. I know why not, but
I mean, they went 12-0 this year. I don't think Vanderbilt's got 12 football wins in the last half decade.
They actually got their. I think they won two SEC games.
Wow, good for them.
Yeah, this year, which and they didn't need Sarah Fuller at kicker.
I was wondering if we're bringing her up again.
I couldn't help it. Hey, get that money, Sarah. Get that money.
100%.
That's why I said about Megan. I don't like her either. Get that money. If you're smart enough to negotiate it, get it.
Yeah. So let's see. They were 2-10 last year, 0-9 in 2020, 3-9 in 2019. Oh, they're 6-7 in 2018. Actually went to a bowl game against Baylor.
But, what? This year?
No, 2018.
Okay.
So
I know they're on like a massive losing streak within the SEC. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't know why not. I mean, like, so let's see. You take the Big Ten. All right, so you finish last. You move down and you go to the MAC.
And here comes Central Michigan, the fighting Chippewas.
I saw them, and I think it was them. I don't know. I was drunk. Big shock when they had a bowl game in Toronto.
Oh yeah. I honestly, if you're doing the MAC, I should have picked Bowling Green, the Falcons, because that's my wife's alma mater. But
I'm surprised you didn't. But I thought you didn't want to be a homer.
Yeah, I didn't want to be a homer. So, but anyway, like I said, we're going to see. This is a pivotal time. It's somebody who is at least competent as a person, which I can't always say about people who they've been in charge of the NCAA.
Oh yeah, go on. I want to close with something after you finish that.
But we shall see. So go ahead.
Oh, you sent me something.
That too. Yeah,
which I thought was sort of interesting because I think a lot of people in Canada we've all shit on Gary Bettman for a long time, but you sent me that one article where they said, well, maybe they should. Somebody put the idea of tweaking the NHL playoffs
the same way they did with the NCAA. Oh no, the NBA with the extra teams and the play-ins and everything.
Yeah, which no, don't touch it.
Gary Bettman's quote on that: "You're looking to fix a problem that doesn't exist."
Yeah, when I was a kid, it existed. When you had 21 teams and 16 got in.
Yes.
Now it's not. This is perfectly fine. It is the best.
Literally half the teams get in and half the teams don't.
Absolutely. Maybe we can look at this if they do expand to a few other markets. Maybe you can look at that as an option, but right now, don't touch it. And hockey's been so much fun this year. Maybe
it's been great.
I'm also biased. Well, I think we both are. Your Bruins are doing phenomenal. The Jets here are.
Although we did lose to the Coyotes for the first time since 2013 the other night.
Was that on the road or was that?
Yeah, it was in Arizona. We lost 4-3 in a game we outshot them 48-13.
The amazing thing too, I mean, I imagine that's got to be the first time that probably some of those players like Bergeron and Pasternak have ever been in a locker room that small.
Yeah, maybe.
In like
maybe
20 years, maybe.
Yeah, maybe true. So I know that the Bruins have been fantastic. The Jets have been playing real well. And
But that's the
Boston
beautiful
sports
thing
is,
with hockey, right? I mean, like, okay, you as a hockey fan, I mean, you're really happy, I'm sure, about the Bruins, but you've got your tempered expectations. You're not penciling in the Bruins in the Stanley Cup final like you are with the Celtics in the NBA final.
well, I'm not in the Eastern Conference final. I'm not penciling the NBA final.
Okay, but you know where I'm going with that because like a hot goalie will change everything. I mean, I still remember those days of 21 teams and 16 getting in. When the minute you talk about shit teams going into the finals, I remember the Minnesota North Stars. I think might have had like 25 wins and they made it to the Stanley Cup final. It was Don Beaupre was hot, or was that when I was a kid? Don Burke.
Just like Andy Moog.
Yeah, Andy Nolan. Ah, yes. The things we do as kids. Well, with that, it's time to plug some shit. So I've written a book. Maybe you might want to check that out. Chavo Guerrero Instant Classic. He met Henry Winkler. And you can read about that there. You can get that on Amazon. But the late, great Chavo Guerrero Sr., I helped him write his autobiography. There's other shows that we do. I cheat on Evan every now and then. The last one we did.
It's more an open relationship, so I get it.
Well done. So the last one of the year, because one of my co-hosts is going away for a bit, going to Antarctica. Yes, so she'll be on a cruise there. So that's the one I do with Andrea Tessman and Brad Nelson. That's How the Hell Did This Go #1. We just recorded Uptown Funk.
Oh.
So we looked at that one, and I learned a bit more about how that one is. I didn't know this. People who wrote that one got sued the shit too because they ripped that one off by the Gap Band.
Makes sense.
Yes. So you can check that out. I've just sent off to my webmaster. I'm about to shortly. On This Crap was on national television of the Battle of the Network Stars, episode 12. I sent something for Krista. I said, hey, let's do Rhythm and Blues, the shit sitcom from 1990. And he said, no. So I sent him.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it. So I found something awful. I think he'll say yes to this because Chris and I met because of our mutual love of pro wrestling. Because Chris did a documentary called Lady Wrestler about the first African American women who trailblazed into pro wrestling in the 50s. So, which you can also get. I'm going to plug his project. You can also get that on Amazon, Lady Wrestler. And so I sent him a show called the pilot episode of a show called Learning the Ropes. Ever heard of that one?
No.
Okay. So it's about school teacher during the day, pro wrestler at night, starring Lyle Alzado.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. About as good as you think.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So we'll see if he gives that a yes, yay, or nay. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I think that'd be a great one to do. Also, it's sort of easier for me because I only have to watch something that's 22 minutes. Usually I do something that's 2 hours.
Yeah.
And let's see, is that, and of course, the big thing to promote on the 20th. If you're a big Pro Football Hall of Fame guy, we want you. Be part of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
100%.
Yeah. Definitely just having different people as this is sort of rotating in and out. The different views we're getting are really incredible. So I'm really proud of what we've sort of put together with that. And with that, wherever you are, wherever you may be, Winnie says, stay safe. Right, Winnie?
Take care, everybody.
Bye. Bye, Winnie. Winnie. All right. Everyone wants to go back to sleep. Take care.